This is Joaquin Xavier from the Voice Party Podcast. This episode has been brought to you by All Roads Overhead Garage Doors. Call now, 510-375-8756. That's 510-375-8756. Get your garage door today.
All right, so first off, man, cheers for Aaron, man. Thanks
Salute.
for coming.
Thank you for having me, gentlemen.
And you made this happen for bringing him, telling me about him. You guys are busy. Well, I guess us three, man.
Whoa.
The three spicks are drinking.
I'm technically like a quarter, so.
A quarter spick.
Lascano, man. Where do you think that comes from?
Yeah. Welcome to the Voice Party, everybody. We got a very special guest today. Go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
My name is Aaron Arevalo.
Awas.
Out of the East Bay, Fremont, where I reside. Born in the city.
I'm gonna keep looking at you. Keep
Just
you going. Keep talking, bro.
East Bay, Fremont, California, 94538.
What do you do? Tell us what you do.
I do everything to survive in the East Bay. Own a bakery. I make custom cakes.
Woo.
I make custom art, horror decor, shibari art.
Shibari arts.
Shibari, basically kinky bondage rope art.
Oh. The day that Gaspar's not here.
The unlucky son.
That's why you do those I don't know what it's called, those tied up girls? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay.
Shibari is the art of rope knotting.
Sounds Japanese, shibari. Almost.
Is it Japanese?
Yes.
It is. So you do that and bakery.
And bakery and horror decor art. So, I paint. If I'm not painting good-looking women tied up on canvas, I'm painting horror.
Good-looking cakes.
Horror things on blades.
I saw the axe you did. Yeah.
Hatchets.
The hatchet.
Yeah.
Axe.
Yeah.
My bad. So how long? Well, how did you get into that, man? Like, what? You always been into drawing kinky shit?
No.
You started off drawing dicks in high school.
It all started with drawing dicks. You know how it is. I've done a lot of weird shit in my life.
Yeah.
But,
well, you're friends with Jesus. So
yeah. Well, let's not talk about how I met him. That was a weird night.
Oh, do tell.
It was cold. I needed a place to stay.
Oh, Jesus.
But,
you found his arms.
In the arms of Jesus.
On his fur.
No, what happened was I just started making cakes, trying to start it as a business. I was doing it for about a year, and then I went out with some friends, and oddly enough, I was the designated driver for the most of the night. Leaving, went to my friend's house. She made, my friend Marie, shout out Marie's, made us some Sisig tacos. I don't know if you guys ever had those.
I've had Sisig, but...
Oh, my God. So she makes Sisig tacos. That's a whole other podcast. But so she made us tacos. It was late night. It was like after the bars, 2 a.m. By the time I head home, it's 4 a.m. Heading home, I get T-boned by a big rig.
Ooh.
They thought I was dead, or the cop knocking, trying to see if I was alive. Didn't know if I was alive. Anyways, long story short, that hurt. My body was in a lot of pain. I couldn't, I'm not digging ditches or tiling roofs, but, making cakes, using fondant, like, it's kind of physical. You know what I mean? I got to move and do stuff. And I was in a lot of pain, so I'm like, well, I need to supplement my income while I can't work. So I decided to, I like horror. I like, I think I would want to see something cool painted on something weird, you know? And initially it wasn't horror. Initially I was trying to kind of placate the common denominator of people with money. I thought some dumb shit like I'm gonna buy some fake guns and paint Scarface on guns and shotguns, and that'll sell at whatever. And turns out you can't just buy a fake gun anymore in California. So that didn't go as planned. So I ended up buying machetes, and right away I'm like, well, fuck, I love horror movies and Friday the 13th. So I started painting Jason on machetes and saw blades, and then it just took off.
And that's one thing I know you're big on horror.
Yeah.
What's your favorite horror movie, or one of your favorite horror movies? Because these guys are big on horror, and that's what we wanted to talk about. I don't know. It's gonna,
you know what?
That's gonna get messy, bro.
It's like I can't even answer. It's just like asking my favorite band or which one of my kids I love more. Like I love them all for different reasons. It depends on just like music depends on the mood. I'm a big fan. I was raised in the 80s, born in 78, so.
Oh damn!
Everything is you know, 80s horror to me is amazing. And, you know, just the whole walk down a VHS aisle and getting sweaty palms, you know, with your parents, and you're like, holy shit, look at the cover of that thing. You know, like,
it's like, there's the cheerleader with a skull in her hand.
Exactly. Or the knife behind her back. Like, oh, I don't know if I want to watch it. I got to watch it. Like, you know, so the 80s stuff definitely does it for me. That's kind of my...
Is there a connection between what was that art you said? The art?
The Shibari art?
So girls in pain. 80s horror movies.
No,
you know?
No, it's not a pain thing. It's not a pain.
You know what I mean, though, right?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Yeah, you're not whipping them.
That's the weird thing is I noticed. It's just really weird. So. I
didn't mean to put you on the spot like that.
Not
like
at all.
Struggling women, you know, it's like something about it turns
No. What? It's just an odd transition of things where I initially thought, like, I love horror, and to me, I always thought, at least in my mind, most women younger growing up with, like, you put on horror, they freak out.
Yeah.
You know, and so in my head, men like horror, I like horror, that's how it's going to be.
Okay.
But when I started making horror art, I realized really only women buy my art.
Really?
They're the only ones that will buy, because they're all in love with a Jason or a Freddy or, you know, a Candyman. Yeah. And they live for horror, unlike most men. Like, guys are like, that's cool, I love that. They're not buying it.
Yeah.
It'll be a woman that buys it, puts it up in her room, a Frankenstein, a Miss Frankenstein. You know, like, it's a weird transition. And what's his name? Vincent Price. Vincent Price said, you know, women live for horror. You know, it electrifies them. It's like, yeah, it's true. You know, because if you think about women on a daily basis are looking over their shoulder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to worry about that. We're men. But, I mean, just this parking lot. You know what I mean? Like, if you got out of the car late at night, you're a woman. Like, you just walk in. But a woman, it's like, I got to look around. You know, somebody hiding behind a car. Like,
that's true. I didn't ever thought about it that way.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it opened my eyes to the whole of the world. Realizing, like, wow, like, this is just different for women. That's why they're in love with it, because they live it, you know?
I mean, if you're going to take a girl to the movies on, like, your first or second date, then you got your choices. A horror movie is always that first rate, because then they get to jump in, they get to hopping in your arms, you know what I mean? And that's a part of that tingling, that exhilaration they feel when they watch the
definitely
the endorphin high.
Although, again, so the transition has been, so, you know, as a younger man dating women, like, it was like, oh my God, I don't watch a horror movie because the jumping and the jump scares, and I'm afraid, and oh my God, hold me. But as I get older, most of the women, obviously, that, you know, you pick them better, you know, like, before it's like, oh, you're pretty, we're going out. Now it's like, oh, you're pretty, but I can't stand you. You know, like, you find people more your style. So now these women, I know, you know, they know and I know, it's like they, you know, had plenty of girlfriends, women that they hang out with, where it's like they could fall asleep well, you know, through the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you know, just chainsaws and people screaming, and they're, you know, they just fell asleep like we're watching a romantic comedy together. Like, no.
Yeah, no,
they're used to it, you know. Like,
yeah.
So you like heavy metal girls, or like that's like your type, like the Suicide Girls, you know, the Suicide Girls, like that.
People say I have a type. I don't think so. I like what I like.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know,
yeah.
It's just everybody's a little bit different, and you know.
So with the cake thing, like, how did that? You started doing the what was it called? I forget the name of the
Shibari art.
Shibari art. You started doing that first, and then how did you get into the cake thing?
No, cakes were before that.
Cakes were before that.
I started painting I had never really painted before until I got hit by the truck.
But you were doing like regular cakes before that, before you got into making them like the way
No,
you do them
I
now?
had never made a cake in my life. No, okay. Me and the mother of my kids split up. We both moved back to Northern California from Southern California. Okay. And I was trying to live a normal existence, like having jobs. I never really worked for anybody. I was always self-employed or running companies. So moved back, and I'm trying to have a normal 9 to 5, because now for the first time ever, I'm splitting my hours between work and my kids. And before I work, come home, my kids are there. Now it's like only having this many days. So we're splitting time. It's killing me. The mother of my kids decides probably like a year or two in, she's going to go back to school to be a nurse, which is great. But I know what that means, you know, because she's going to hit it hard. Yeah. It's like, okay, if I'm working in Oakland 8-9 hours a day plus commuting, that's 12 hours a day. Who's going to be with the kids? You know, like, she's going to be at school all day. and she wants to, she needs to do it, but I gotta work. Like I gotta figure out a way to stay home with the kids. So accidentally, I saw I've seen one episode of Cake Boss, that dude show. I saw one episode. I'm like, oh, it looks like something I can do. And my kids' birthdays are 4 years, but a couple days apart. So we always do a joint party. And I was like, well, I'll try and make them a cake. You know, if I can make it look like that, I'll make their birthday cake. So I did a tester cake. It was a little princess pillow. And I made it on a day where I didn't have the kids for a few days. And I had it at the house. And I have this, cake that looks like a little cute princess pillow. I'm like, well, I'll just take it to the office, and let people have at it. So our parking lot between the office and the parking lot was like 2 blocks. So I'm walking, and the whole way there, I'm carrying this stupid fucking cake. I got stopped by 4 different women. And they're like, well, where'd you get that? Oh, my God. And at first, I'm like, oh, thanks, cool, I made it. By the last lady, I'm like, what would you pay for this? She goes, I don't know, like $200. And I'm like, fuck, this is like $8 worth of ingredients, like you really like. And I'm just thinking she's nuts. It's Oakland, you never know. She could have been a crackhead in a business suit.
I'll give you sex.
I'll give you sex in a camcorder. So so that happened, and it started the wheels turning. And then I made their cakes for the birthday party. I made my daughter a better princess pillow cake, and my son a shark. And at a birthday party, if you had 10 kids, that means you have 10 to 20 parents.
Yeah. And
we had both of them, so we have 20 to 40 parents standing around, and they're all just like, holy shit, where'd you get this, blah blah blah. And I'm like, you'd pay for this? Like, and then from there on, it was just people like, hey, can you make this, can you make that? So the birthday's in April. End of May, I quit my job and just said, fuck it all.
End of May of what?
The same year, the next month.
The next month.
Yeah.
So that was a quick transition.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've always been self-employed.
Yeah.
And.
Okay, so you went back to what you originally knew.
Yeah, I just know, when you get up, you got to get paid.
Yeah.
That's it. So I've never understood punching a clock. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's just like, well, that's all I'm going to make today. Like, I can make more than this,
you work your ass off, too.
Yeah, exactly. That's what kills. I have friends, that kill themselves.
Yeah.
And it's just for X. Excuse me.
It's all good.
Or they're not killing themselves, but they're making good money.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you're online all day. The 8 hours you're at work, for 7.5 of it, you're just in my DMs just talking about, nonsense. It's like, dude, like, if I had your job, I would still get paid like you, but then I would probably have a side gig while I'm sitting there.
Yeah.
Like, you could be making, money while you're sitting there, but you're sitting there talking about
bullshit.
Yeah, bullshit, yeah.
Cake. You said Cake Boss. Cake Wars or Cake Boss? Which one was it? You were on one of those shows.
I was on Cake Wars.
Cake Wars.
Yeah.
I remember you told me what episode when I checked it out. How long ago was that?
That was probably 4 years ago now, I think.
4 years ago? And what made you like? Because it's, to get on there and decide to it's a competition, right? I only saw what you showed me.
Well, no, actually, I thought Jesus was fucking with me. So this is when, again, I just started doing that. Not just, but I'm probably 2 years into making cakes. And it was, it's getting good. I was constantly busy. But I would have the kids, their moms going to school. I'd have the kids 5 to 7 days a week. So I had them every day, take them to school, pick them up. I'd have them after school or overnight, and then every other weekend. So I had them 4.5 to 7 days a week. And cakes, generally, I'm working Wednesday through Saturday.
Okay.
Just on cakes. So when I had the kids, I'd have them all day, and I'd try not to work while I have them. But then as soon as I put them in bed 8:30 on the clock, it's cake time, and I'd work till 4 a.m., get up at 7, take them to school, come home, work. So I'm tired. So I would, I'm going to pick them up one day. School gets out at 2:45. I get there at 2 o'clock, and I'm like, I'm going to take a nap. So I'm napping in the car. My phone rings, and it's some obscure number. Like, we talked to you about, we've seen your cakes online. Would you like to be on a TV show? And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm half asleep. I'm like, fucking Jesus. What the fuck is this? He's like, excuse me. I'm like, wait, hold on. Like, I got to, snap out. I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, we saw your stuff online. I talked to you about being on a TV show. I'm like, oh. This is not a joke. Okay, so I don't know. One of the production companies found me online, and they saw my stuff and they wanted to.
So you didn't even reach out to them; they just reached out all the way to you.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. So how many episodes did you do?
Just the one.
Oh, just the one.
Yeah, but it's like a.
Did you win the war? The kick wars?
No, I got my ass handed to me. I made it to the championships, but I got my ass handed to me.
Yeah.
By some good people. There were. Turns out there are like multiple winners of the show.
Okay.
I knew that walking in though. We all go to the same hotel, and they told us, we could walk in, we could show up with a certain amount of stuff, blah blah blah, etc. And as me and my brother checking into the hotel, I see the Suburban pull up, and it's just everything dialed in, and I'm like, oh man, like they're gonna beat us, like they are beating us, and sure enough, it was. Yeah.
So it was all but being on there, it changed like your whole. I mean, I'm sure that got you way more publicity than you. Or did it do anything for you?
Not necessarily.
I think about that because there's a lot of shows now where people, like regular people, go on, and I don't know how much effect it has.
I'm a regular person. I mean, I think outside of California, it affects you because I get like when the rerun happens, I'll get phone calls from the weirdest people. Did you know you're on TV? Like, but it, California. I mean, it's either you need a cake or you don't. Like nobody's, I don't know. It helps because people know, I could say that or they've seen. Oh, cool. Like we trust this guy, whatever. I wouldn't say it brought me too much business. It's just one of those cool, things to have.
Yeah. To get your name out there.
Yeah.
But okay. So it didn't, because I know I looked at your page before we had you on, and I saw like you worked with Kirk Hammett from Metallica. You did something for the guy from Sublime. What's his name? Rome from Sublime.
Well, that's a whole different thing.
Okay, that's why I wanted to ask.
No, so my brother has worked for a company called Rocket Cargo for years, and Rocket Cargo, basically, if you rock stars don't use normal moving companies.
Mm-hmm.
You're Madonna. You're not using Beacons to move 60,000 CDs and T-shirts to the next concert. They use Rocket Cargo. So any of those weird instances where you hear like you see like Rolling Stone will be like Mick Jagger spent $30,000 to have a scarf flown from England to a show within 4 hours because he wanted that scarf. Some weirdness. It's usually that's the type of stuff they do. They move rock stars, and they have a special close crew at the Bay that uses them for a lot of stuff. So Metallica's a Bay band, so they're here. Their headquarters is here. So, he kept telling them, hey, because he worked closely with them, like, hey, my brother does this stuff. You need something. And then, sure enough, their management got a hold of me. Like, first it was a management cake. I got to go to their top secret headquarters, which was pretty cool. And then Kirk reached out to me for some stuff for like Fear Fest.
He reached out to you?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, Kirk's awesome, man. Like, well, him and his crew, because the guy's in one of the biggest bands in the world.
Yeah.
But he puts on Fear Fest Evil, which is an amazing festival because he has to own one of the largest, most in-depth personal horror collections. Like everything from the 20s forward. Mm-hmm. He owns Bela Lugosi's Black Cat.
Is that he displays it in SF, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
That's not even a quarter of his stuff.
Okay.
The guy filled the Regency Ballroom with his stuff.
That was the one I was asking about. That's not Fear Fest. That's not the one.
No, that's Fear Fest.
That is Fear Fest. Okay.
Yeah. He's only done 3 of them because they've been touring.
He brings out like props from old.
Yeah. He owns all this stuff, man. It's amazing that one person owns this because he loves it, and that's why he puts on the festival because he loves it, and because I don't think he's making a huge profit off of it because he's bringing in friends, bands, Death Angel, these guys to play, and like the horror people that want to be there because they love it as well.
Yeah.
So he reached out, and I did all the VIP treats and cupcakes for which I generally don't do, like
treats,
fuck a cupcake or anything else, but Metallica, Kirk asks you, you're like, all right, let's. What do you
as a guy who has a Metallica tattoo on him, like, how did it feel to get fucking Kurt Cobain? I'm tripping. Fucking beer's fucking me up, dude. Kirk Hammett to call you, dude. Like, hello.
It's amazing. Well, that wasn't a phone call; it was an email. But
okay.
It's amazing just to be around these people that you idolize. You know what I mean? And that are really cool because. Back in the day, I did a lot of like really cool stuff that I thought was getting me places. You know, like I'd be backstage here and there. It's because, you know, we had money, you know, and I can get backstage. But nobody gave a shit, you know, because it's like, oh, you got another guy that paid enough to be back here, you know, and whatever. But now, like, I'm bringing them stuff. So, I did his book release party for Too Much Horror Business. And, dude, he was like the nicest, most humble, personable dude in the world. And he's just like, oh, my God, man, that's a cake. I can't eat this. You're amazing. I'm just like, you're fucking Kirk Hammett. Like, I will feed you the cake, dude. Like, what's the problem? But, no, it's just amazing to be around these people that are artists, you know, because I do get phone calls from professional athletes, and it's a different conversation.
Oh,
it's a different conversation. Well, these, again, the way I look at it is an artist, every day they're thinking about the time they put in. Because everything is a labor of love. You know what I mean? Where you're painting or sculpting or whatever it is you're doing, it's a labor of love. You're putting together a show, like this is what you do. You know, you want it to be perfect or it's never good enough. And I feel like, yes, there's some natural talent in there, but a lot of it is just hours, you know? Like
hard work.
Yeah, like
effort.
Kirk Hammett didn't pick up a guitar and just, you know how to shred just cuz. You know, he put in hours of taking dicks, you know? So anytime, you know, Metallica, Patti Smith, any of these people that have come to me for cakes, there's never a question, hey, can we get a hookup or can you, not a fucking word. They just, I give them a number and that's what they pay. But, you know, I get, you know, might be a Raider or a Niner or a Warrior or whatever, but it's always the same. Well, you know, a lot of people are going to see this. Like, I don't give a fuck. That's what it costs. Like,
for real? Yeah. Even at that level,
like,
they do
dude,
that
like,
shit?
Yeah, like, did you not just buy a Bentley? Like, I don't care who sees this. I don't care if nobody sees this. If you want it, that's what it costs. Like, you know, like,
you know who I am?
That's like when people try to like haggle like video production, like, oh, this would be great exposure for you. It's like, oh, great, my landlord takes exposure. Awesome.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. How much of that can you send over to my landlord right away? Yeah. No, it's idiotic to me. It's insulting, you know, because it's like, dude, would you give me season tickets right now? Not that I give a fuck about, you know, who you are. Like, I had to Google you to see who you are.
As a fucking Raiders. I mean, I don't know.
I don't care. I'm
not good with you. Raider fans?
I don't care who wins the match. I'm not a big sport guy, but yeah, I mean, I'm unimpressed. Unless you're Pele. I was impressed by Pele as a kid. And if I met him once as a teenager and I was happy. If he asked for a discount, fuck yeah, Pele, I got it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, your heroes are different.
Yeah.
You just happen to those people, they're not your heroes.
Yeah.
And that's
but again, I mean, if they, I don't know, they're just like a mutual respect thing that has to happen. I'm not asking for much, you know, like, but I mean, I get that they're used to it because everybody else is constantly handing them stuff, you know, and constantly like, just show what I do. And it's like, well, most of these people aren't a real business. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you make cookies, but you're not a real business, you know?
Yeah.
And this is what I do for a living. Like, why would I just hand you stuff cheaply, you know?
Yeah. I heard a story, I think it was Shaq, had called some motorcycle, like some I can't remember the company, right? I can't remember the name. But he was like, yo, I need a custom, because he's a big guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
I need a custom built motorcycle. I want it to be this color, yada, yada. So the guy builds the thing, and then Shaq just kind of goes, you know what?
Whoa.
Nah, I'm all right. I mean, because supposedly it was good, but he was like, he changed his mind, or he bulked on the price, or whatever. He's like, you know.
Well, see, that's number one. I would never work without not taking money. You know what I mean?
Or at least having a signed contract.
Yeah, but I thought Shaq was more of a stand-up dude, and that's crazy.
You know, I heard
must have been a shitty bike though.
You know, like,
or you get half up front. Always get half up front.
This was probably when he was young and starting out, and you know, when you're in your 20s, you're not as mature as when you're older.
Very true.
But I've heard stories about Michael Jordan. You know how like he'll show up to a restaurant or go into Nordstrom's or something and just change into new clothes and walk out, assuming that just because he's Michael Jordan and he's so famous and everyone loves him so much, they'll just pay the bill. That's why to this day, I don't have a single pair of Jordans in my. You know, a lot of people.
Salute, me too. Neither
do I.
You know, it's not that now.
And
I admit, sometimes I look at the shoes like they're pretty nice, but you're such a douche. Like, yeah, I said it for those of you listening at home.
I'm on board with you on that. If you catch me in any type of moon shoe, Jordan or whatever, just beat me. I've hit my head. Put me out of misery. I had that same pack with some Hell's Angels. I had the same pack with some Hell's Angel friends. If you ever see me in like fancy jeans with, you know, like fancy dress shoes or sandals, you know, like some True Religions or something.
Yeah.
They can legally just shoot me in the head and move on, and it's okay. We have a pact, you know, because we're a man. You know what I mean? You wear Levi's, you wear Wranglers or something.
Sorry about that, bro. We brought Jesus in here, and there's always drinking with Jesus.
But yeah,
That's my fault, though.
I'm not into the whole Jordan thing. I remember in the 6th, 6th grade, it started being a thing.
Yeah.
And I had a couple of friends that parents were well off, and they were like coming up with, and then there's like $110 for these shoes, and it was like, whoa.
Back
whoa,
then?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, dude, like mine are 25. Like, what are you talking about? And, you know, you kind of wanted them because you don't know any better. You like, think, oh, that's cool, and I'm not cool. But then I'm starting watching. I'm like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Like, I remember my parents telling me, like, I mean, we really could get you some if you want them, but you wouldn't have all these other things, and you're just going to have some fucking shoes.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to ruin, like, you see what you do to your shoes in 2 weeks. Like, what? Like, why would you want to do that, you know? And just, I don't get it.
I used to say, because when I was you say you were born in 78? Yeah. When I was a teenager, early 2000s, I couldn't afford them. So whenever people would ask me, like, you know, they'd make fun of my shoes because they weren't Jordans, I would always say, "Oh man, I don't like those kind of shoes." You know?
Throw it out. I have a thing against foreign trade.
Yeah, I don't even like Jordan, bro. Like,
I'm a Lakers fan.
Larry Bird had shoes, and that's a different story.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, no, I could never justify paying that much for shoes, man. Like, it's,
well, there was a big change. Like, again, I older, so I watched it happen, but where finance definitely changed quickly, you know, 80s through the 90s, to where it became a total normal thing where a lot of people could get their hands on Jordans, you know, because finance has changed so much where like everybody just handed a credit card. People's parents were handed credit cards. That's why like the price of cars went from $4,000 brand new in the 70s to 40,000, you know, in the 2000s, because it just boom, boom, boom. Oh, we can finance you now. And it's like, oh, okay, well then I guess finance the kids Jordans and this parka and whatever, you know, nonsense you need. So
now, I will say, I heard a story recently that sort of changed my mind on the subject in a way, because Michael Jordan, according to Spike Lee, helped him fund the Malcolm X film. And I'm like, oh, look at you actually doing something slightly humanitarian for the arts. I guess I owe you one pair, Mike. I mean, I'll confess, you know, my goddaughter is a huge fan, and I told her as long as you keep your grades up, I'll buy you a pair. But her shoes are small, so it kind of doesn't put that much of a dent. Now, if I were buying those for me, I'd be in the hole. You know what I mean? But they got to be all A's. Be all A's.
Well, that's why I'm lucky. My kids aren't really. They're not into that mess. My son's 15, my daughter's 11, and luckily, they're still Vans and Chuck Taylors, and I mean he gets Nikes every now and then, but it's not like there's no need for nonsense. You know, like their Christmas list. People are like, oh, like, you know, it's tough no matter what. But you know, like my kids just want art supplies and, you know, some stuff for music, whatever. But like they're not asking for. My daughter's she's not asking for a Gucci purse. My son's not asking for a Gucci belt or Jordans or anything crazy. Like they just want stuff to be productive with, you know. You know,
and at that age, I was very much like, just give me a video game, you know.
But even then, I mean, you'd imagine at 15 and 11, all they want are video games.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily they're really cool. Like you know, their mom's pretty cool, and then I'm, you know, fucking awesome. So.
You know, and also you hear about Jordan's gambling addiction, and it makes you wonder, oh, that's why the fucking shoes cost so much, dude. So
it cost so much just because he was the first. I mean, he was the first to do it, man. He was the first to, you know, put a big name and with a big company that Nike wasn't dumb about it.
Yeah.
They took the ball and ran with it. You know,
he was superhuman in the 80s, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, he's superhuman. I've seen him in real life. The guy. Yeah. Again, I did a lot of weird things in my past. I had a girl that used to work for me who used to date a Hall of Fame running back who's best friends with Tiger Woods, Charles Barkley, and Michael Jordan, because all these guys live in the same areas. They buy houses in Arizona, in LA, in Florida, wherever they're going to buy them. Not only say together, but they just end up that way, and they're all really good friends.
Yeah.
So I used to, on occasion, end up at a table with Tiger Woods, Charles Barkley, Michael Jordan.
Oh, damn.
And yeah, they do weird things that you don't, whole other level, just like you said, like, walk in and order some change and leave, because that's not a level you'd ever be used to. You know what I mean? But that's a level where it's like, they know they walk in, everybody turns around and goes, holy shit, that's Michael Jordan or whoever. And then so them walking out, it's like, that's fine. Let's just, can you take a picture next to the Nordstrom sign? Great, thank you. And that's what they're used to.
And I mean, on some level, I can maybe see, there being some logic in, as long as I take a picture with the owner of the restaurant or something.
Yeah, shake some hands.
And they get to put it up on the wall, that's good for their business. Yeah. So in that respect, market-wise, it's going to drive, this is the place where Michael Jordan ate.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, that's one thing if you actually actively do that. But if you're not doing that, if you're not at least stopping to take a pic and, you know what I mean, and offering your celebrity to help sell their, it's like a living commercial in that respect. But if that's not what you're doing, then pay the bill.
Yeah.
And give a damn good tip.
No, dude, I have friends, like we all do. We have friends, like might own a restaurant or whatever they do and invite you over, and you don't go unless you intend to pay. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to invite you out or go out if I don't intend to pay. Like, I would never say, hey, meet me at the bar, not thinking if you're like, dude, I'm broke. I'm like, I got you. Like, I wouldn't ask you to go meet me somewhere. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that's the way any human being should be out in public, is with nothing, Like,
exactly.
Like, yeah. So, and just the fact that you've got it, like, why wouldn't you at least, do the right thing and try and pay? Let them turn you down. Hey, you are Michael Jordan, fine. But,
that's one thing. And don't press the issue then. Just be honored that they wanted to give you that. That's great. But, at least offer. Yeah. Good Lord.
And they just assume you can walk away with shit just because of who you are.
Arrogance.
That's the kind of success I want in life, man.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, I mean, there's nothing wrong with wanting that level of success, but at the same time, you still want to treat people decently, even though you
I'm totally kidding.
But again, I'm
good with that.
Again, as annoyed as I get by these phone calls, it's probably every few months. It's not all the time, but every few months, some local, professional athlete will hit me up for something, and it annoys me because it's what I do for a living. Mm-hmm. Like, if you actually had to pay for my seat at the stadium, would we be having this conversation? No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not even going to give me a ticket because that's not even in your wheelhouse. But, aside from that, like, it annoys me, but I do get it. I mean, these guys, fresh out of college, and they're handed this.
Right.
It's like, you got fame, you got women, you got money, and it's all handed to you now. Like, I get that they're jaded in the wrong way.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is life now.
And, to be fair to the athletes, it's not that you touched on earlier that the musicians work really hard to get where they are. And I will say this much, training, I mean, starting all the way back when you're itty bitty and going to peewee leagues and little kid basketball. And I remember at one point my grandparents had this crazy notion when I was growing up in Arkansas. It's like, oh yeah, we want you to play a sport. I mean, you want to get better out in basketball. And one of the coaches recommend just sit for like 2 to 3, 15 minutes with the ball in your hand on the edge of your bed. You have to go out and shoot. That's a lot of time and effort to devote to something as well.
Yeah, and not taking away from them. Yeah, I mean, these guys have done it. Yeah, you're right. Since odds are their parents are like, hey, this kid looks like he can do something. He's 2. You know what I mean? Like, he can move the ball. Like, and I get that. Mm-hmm. But I just feel like there's a deeper understanding.
There's more empathy with artists.
Yeah.
Because when that's the way I feel. I could be wrong, but when you're creating music that is a very empathic process because you're accessing how you feel, or
exactly.
you're trying to reach the other person on the other side of the aisle and connect with how they feel.
Yeah.
And that goes with filmmaking and music, whether you're an actor.
It's a part of you.
Yeah.
It's a part of you.
Thinking about
versus
others.
My job is I stand up, I turn right, and I hit that guy as hard as I can, and then it's over in the 8 seconds.
Like I've got
That's a big difference.
And you're stuck in that, like you said, you're stuck in that fucking thing of practicing all the time. I mean, you're not really talking to, not that they're not regular people, but like they're not,
it's a different, like they said, there's levels to it. It's the weirdest levels, man. Like,
and with athleticism, you have that whole, there's that. I'm not saying every athlete has this, but with a lot of them, I think they misinterpret the training and the competition as purely. They take it as I have to be better than the next guy.
Yeah.
And then that mutates into, once you get to the top, I'm better than everyone.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And most artists don't feel that, where they're like, I got to be better than the other band. It's more like,
I got to be better than I was yesterday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or I'm just having fun.
Yeah.
Or I'm just having fun.
That's like, some guys seem like it is. And
oh, yeah.
It's.
And there's a beauty in that. You know what I mean? There's a beauty and that's why, again, but that's the different thing, again, between artists and athletes is when you've got, that's why, like, there's no loyalty in sports. Mm-hmm. If somebody was offered 120 million versus the 118 million, they're leaving. At that point, what's 2 million?
Yeah.
But it's enough for them to go, you know what? It's been 12 years with these guys, and I'm going with them for my last 2 because that's just, they don't care about, years ago you'd stick in, like, that's why people love the Raiders so much, because these guys were a dynasty that they'd live and die for each other. They could win, lose, whatever, and they'd still stick on the team. This guy's fingers are broken, battered, and he shouldn't be playing anymore, but he says 1 more year and this will be 20 and he's done. You know what I mean? As a Raider. But now nobody cares.
And some of that is owners negotiating with you. Like, people are getting sold. Their contracts are being sold from one or the other trading. I mean, I would imagine the athletes don't have that much say, right?
No, they got a lot.
Because they're contracted, right?
They're contracted, but as soon as the contracts are up...
That's different.
That's why you see things like... God, who was explaining? Because, again, I don't give a shit. I don't keep track. Mm-hmm. But somebody explained to me the other day how one of their players that they had on a fantasy league, which is the weirdest thing in the world to me... did something he didn't have to do. Like, he could have just downed the ball, but he picked it up and ran another few yards, which didn't help his team, but helped his stats personally, so that he was worth more with those stats elsewhere. You know what I mean? It's like, like, that's rude as fuck. You know what I mean?
No, that is.
Like, I remember when I had my mortgage company, I would fire people, and this is before LinkedIn was the LinkedIn we know. Like, LinkedIn is a total normal thing now. But when I had my mortgage company, LinkedIn was new, and it was like, you're cheating on me.
So LinkedIn before Jesus and LinkedIn
way before Jesus.
After Jesus.
Way before Jesus.
Those are the two.
Yeah,
those are the two LinkedIns we're talking about. Before Jesus and after Jesus.
Pre-JC, yes. Pre-JC, this was in the 2000s. It was a new platform, and it was literally, I'd get an email, and it would be like, hey, did you know Jesus Cruz is on LinkedIn? And be like, oh, he works for me, blah, blah, blah. And like, just go over your desk and be like, oh, how's the job hunt going? How's my lipstick? Am I wearing lipstick? Like, why are you trying to fuck me? Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, because at that point, and I know other people that are doing it too. It's just, why would you, like, this is home. You know what I mean? Like, if you work for me, you make this your home. Like, why would you be out there putting your name out there for other people, you little slut? But...
I'm with you on that. Loyalty is everything, especially when you're in business together and you're treating your people well,
Yeah. Going back to the LinkedIn part, it was funny because actual LinkedIn employees obviously are on LinkedIn. Like, you have to be on it.
But that's so weird.
But they encourage that shit. They encourage you to get the fuck out of there.
Well, you know what?
That's why they want this, because then it means that their shit works.
Yeah,
it means there's the product works.
Proof's in the pudding. Well, but that's what's changed so much about the workforce. Because again, then this is in the 2000s. Then, like, this is when people still had decades, long jobs. They'd retire at the same company.
Yeah.
But it's only been the last 10 years to where it's like, oh, every job is 3-4 years tops.
Yeah.
Like, every company wants the best out of you. Your best 2 to 4 years. and then you have to move on. If like they're firing you, or because they don't want to pay your wage anymore, or you should be moving on to a better wage. That's it. There's no more 15, 20, 30-year jobs. So I understand it now, but then for those first 2-3 years, it was like, dude, why are you fucking me? Like this ain't cool, you know. But now, no, it makes total sense. That's just how business is done. Who doesn't want the best out of their employee? Plus, you don't want to pay a pension for this guy. I want my best 3 years out of you, and then I'll give you a great resume. If you're great, I'm gonna try and keep you, but I'm probably not gonna pay what you want to get paid, because I could bring in somebody else that I can bring in to do what you do on a learning wage. You know what I mean? Pay a lot less. Still not paying a pension for anybody, and have a nice day. Oh, I'll bring him in as a contractor. I'm not paying health insurance this year. Like, it's
messed up. I read an article about law firms and how, you know, the tradition over at law firms, much as you mentioned, that there's this mythology built up around law firms, and even it used to be ad firms as well, where partners. It's like you were partners, you got in on the board, you were there for life, and then you worked until you got your watch, and then you left. But even in high ranking fields such as a law firm, even that is no longer like the culture expectation.
Because we ruined that as well.
It's like, dang.
I'll tell you, I ran a law firm.
Really?
Yes.
What have you not done?
Damn,
I've done a lot. So after the
I thought we were just going to talk about cakes, man.
Hey, man, that's the thing about Voice Party. We go all over the place.
Yeah, we're going around the board. So what happened was, when I had a mortgage company, me and my partner, and as the mortgage industry, before the mortgage industry crashed, I noticed my clients couldn't come back and refinance, because in the early 2000s, you could buy a house today, refinance tomorrow, pull out $50,000, and refinance it every 6 months to a year. Keep pulling money out. It was just a teller. And then I realized people couldn't do it anymore. They're stuck. So me and a friend started this company. I won't say the name. And what we did is we negotiated loans for people, which I'd never done before. But I own one of the first, as far as I know, loan modification companies in the state of California. Mm-hmm. And this was in 2006. The market didn't crash till November 2007 with New Century Mortgage. So I had started this a year before, because I realized, you're walking in the door, you're faithful to me as a client, I want to help you, and we all need to make money. So let's figure this out. So in the end, it ended up, there was no law around it. There's real estate law, there's private law. There was no law pertaining to the loan itself and who negotiates it, because it had never been done before. Either you get a loan from a bank or you don't. Now it comes down to, you already own a loan with the bank and you're late. Who do you talk to about that? It wasn't a thing to discuss back in the day. So there was no laws pertaining to it, nobody watching it. And me and my partner had this company, we were doing it, and it was taken off. We pretty much shut down the mortgage side, and we're just helping people try and save their homes by negotiating. So then what happened was, we were doing well, and a very, very big company stepped in. You'll know them if you see them on TV. They own every bit of infomercial there is. Heidi Klum's makeup, Proactive, all those, any infomercial spot you see on TV, these guys own. They stepped in as a silent partner and were funding an attorney to do what we did the right way, because we had 8 attorneys on our payroll, and basically just in namesake to say, hey, they looked over your file, blah, 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 but we're doing the work. Mm-hmm. And my partner was very cheap, was like, dude, we don't need these guys. Why pay attorneys? I'm like, because we're going to go to jail. Somebody's going to go to jail soon. This needs to happen. And I think we went to Hawaii. When I came back, he had fired the attorneys. And then that same week, I'm pissed off at him. That same week, an old title rep friend of mine came to me and says, come meet me at this office. So I meet him over there, and he explained to me how these guys are funding this company, one attorney on record as the owner, and they got another team of attorneys that are helping. And all I got to do is run the sales part and teach the machine how to be the machine, and then teach the salesman how to do what they do. So in an essence, I was running this company until shit hit the fan with these guys not listening, because once money starts walking in the door, people stop, especially attorneys, they stop listening. Attorneys are like doctors. They think they think because of what they've learned, they got this. There's nothing new to learn. Whatever I think, I got. Like, this is, we're going to go my way.
No
It's
new
like,
knowledge.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you're going to go to jail. And that's what I told him. Like, dude, you're going to go to jail. The feds are going to come in here with machine guns, shut you down, take away your bar card, and you're going to go to jail and owe a lot of money. And sure enough, what happened?
Whoa.
Yeah, there was a whole federal indictment. It was nasty. I was removed from it because of my emails to the owners and him. Like, hey, you need to do ABC to protect yourself to do this job, or don't do it. Walk away, don't do it, because you're going to go to jail. Wow. Sure enough, shit got ugly.
Did you go to jail?
No. I was left alone. I
think that's why Phil's leaving.
He doesn't want to be implicated.
He's a Fed, bro. Whatever you just said.
He's out there snitching.
We got him to confess on the air. He didn't give up any names, but we're closer to the...
I still have a document from the federal court system saying I'm exonerated of. Had nothing to do with it. They actually removed my name was in because my old partner after I left, he kept doing what he was doing. He did some Fed time.
He did some Fed time.
And then that guy that I ran his law firm, he definitely did some Fed time. But I'm clean. Teflon.
Dang. Wow. All those lawyers and they still got screwed up.
Because, again, lawyers like doctors. It's just like you go to a doctor. Nobody's a real doctor anymore. Doctors used to doctor. They would figure out what's wrong with you, go down, you have to go down the trail to figure, process elimination and hope to find out something. And if you don't, keep searching.
Right.
Now they're
prescribing shit.
Yeah. Now, well, not even. Yes. Worst case.
Yeah.
Best case, they're just like Google. Like, oh, it's not that. It's this. It's like, no. Like, there's you have to be an advocate for yourself in everything these days, especially healthcare, because you're gonna die. But everything else, because nobody's looking out for you. No, there's not even a real salesman anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you can't. That's why, like, again, I ran a mortgage company, had a real estate division, and we had salesmen. We had people that could slaughter you. You know what I mean? If they wanted to, they could slaughter you. They could sell you homes to your family. They'd kill you, and you'd love it. Now, you meet people, and it's just like, you are not good at this at all, are you? Like, let me show you how to sell me. Like, it's really bad out there.
We just had some salespeople here today.
Oh yeah, we had a
real estate agent.
On a previous another episode, we had.
And that's what we were talking about, the crash in what, 08?
Oh man,
07.
07.
07 is when it really happened. November 07, New Century Mortgage was the first subprime lender to have to come out and say we fucked up.
Yeah. So is that what you were part of when?
New Century Mortgage was a private lender, like just like B of A or anybody else. They're just a smaller lender. So what they would do is they would take. So if you guys are all banks, you're Bank of America, you're Wells Fargo, you're New Century. You guys are the big guys, but he's just New Century. He's going to collect everything he can and sell it to you in a different portfolio stacks. So New Century was bundling stacks of shit, making stuff at the top look good, so where you're not searching through everything. You're like, oh, these are all great. These are Orange County homes worth $600,000 each. Money's at the bank. These people are good, and you buy them at a certain price amount because that's money in the bank.
Yeah. Not
realizing that somebody stuffed these people in a loan they shouldn't be in, that they really can't afford this mortgage right off the bat. That because again, it was the finance changed so much so quickly. Nothing made sense anymore. People were just handed money for it. There's no reason for decades, if you ask your parents, your grandparents, when you bought a house, housing interest rates were at 10, 11, 12%. All they had were 30-year fixes, or 15 maybe.
Right.
They didn't have no 2-year loans. They didn't have any interest onlys. They didn't have any, neg-ams. Like, they did this to help people get into homes, but a good salesperson is going to convince you or just show you how to use the system.
Yeah.
Like, I'd show people, look, I can get you in this home you want on a 2-year loan. I'm going to give you a 1-year prepayment penalty you're going to pay for. You're going to give me $6,000 to buy you out of the second year, because in 1 year, you got a 580 credit score. If you pay your mortgage on time, you pay my friend to fix your credit, you could be in the 700s. When you're in the 700, you come back to me. This is what I can drop your loan amount to, or your payment to, get you a better rate. We'll lock you in for 30 years. If you want someone who gets you some money, but this is the plan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
it's not just selling you the fucking thing, you know.
Well,
like,
that's why it would work,
Yeah.
because I could give you a plan of attack. Hey, look, your kids are 6 and 8. You got 10 and 12 years before college.
Yeah.
How are you going to pay for that? You have no idea. Okay, well, this is what we're going to do. Your credit's going to be golden. You have to stick to. And does anybody know? Like, you are what you are. Nothing ever really changes. If you're not good with money, guess what? Winning it a lot. That's why, like, the whole lottery stories, like, people win and then
lose it on
because nothing changes. If you're not good with money, guess what? You're not good with money.
Yeah.
You know, and
it doesn't matter how much you make.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter.
I'm the same guy. I've made a whole lot of stupid money. Guess what? I don't have it. You know, like it is what it is. But I would give people a plan of attack.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I ended up in the mortgage industry. I was in the car business, and I was offered to go look at this job in the mortgage industry, and the guy I was going to go see for the job didn't like me, and he threw a phone book at me and said, "Call these people, listen to her, and call people." So I sat down next to their top salesperson.
Regular people on the phone book, just anyone.
Yeah. Because it was that easy back then.
Yeah.
Like, if you own a home, you'd be like, "You haven't talked to anybody today?" "No." "You own a home?" "Yeah." "You know you got 200, 300, 400 grand sitting there, right? Do you want that?" Like you could, I mean, imagine you're at home and somebody's like, "You want 100 grand a day?" Let's talk about your house. Like, fuck, I could probably use some money.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that easy.
It's that easy back then.
But what happened was, so I was a salesman. My brother got me in the car business, and I could sell. And so they sit me down next to this girl who he's like, "This is our best salesman. Listen to her and fucking call people." So I'm listening to her, and she's horrible because, number one, she's on the phone and people asking questions she can't answer. Like, don't get on the phone and talk to people like you're an authority if you can't direct them. Or at least act like it. You know what I mean? Like, there's a way to get off the phone without sounding stupid. You sound stupid. You know, so she doesn't sound right. And then when they start asking for rates and where can I be, what's my payment going to be? Because that's your first question. Well, what's my payment going to be then?
Yeah.
She doesn't know what to say. And so she puts the phone on hold. And she's got to run her sister, which is our processor at the time, who could figure out, rate sheet's pretty simple. Loan of value, interest rate. And that's
like on a chart kind of
thing.
thing?
It's a simple, you know.
What year was this?
2002.
Dang.
Yeah. So it's a simple thing, but nobody took the time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't do anything unless I know I can dominate at it. Right. You know what I mean? Like, you want to play me ping pong? I'm going to say no because I can't dominate at you yet. Give me a week. If you really want to play, I will figure out ping pong and I'll come back and ask you if you want to play. Like, I don't do something unless I can dominate. So it's the same thing with this, where I stepped in this arena and I'm watching this girl, their top person who was making money, and she just can't, she keeps putting the phone down. I'm thinking, you're losing. You're losing. Like, you have to control these people. So she put the phone down, and the first day I started picking the phone up. Because I'm straight out of the car business, and she had just learned the mortgage industry, but she was the top person. So I would just I'd pick up her phone, like, "Hey, you're talking to Stephanie. What were you looking to do?" "Oh, well, she's trying to get me a payment." "Oh, what payment do you want to be at?" "Oh, I wanted to be here and here and here." "Okay, well, I'm sure I can do that. Like, what do you have for me right now?" "What do you mean?" "I need you to fax me these documents or it's not going to happen tonight. So I need your skin in the game to you're like, oh shit, this guy said we can do it." And at that point, we could. Whatever you asked for, could probably do it. Odds are you didn't even want that. Because, yeah, you wanted 40 grand and a payment of $1,200, could probably do it. But in the end, when I go, well, you know you have 200 grand sitting here. Do you want the 200? Do you want to pay off all your bills and have 80 grand instead? Jeez. Your payment's going to go to this. Then you'd be like, oh, fuck yeah, sign me up. Like, it was like selling crack to toddlers who were born crack babies.
Oh,
okay. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a right and wrong way to do it, and they hadn't figured out how to direct somebody. You know what I mean? Like, I was really good at directing them to, hey, this is your plan. You know, like, because I would go over everything for them. Like, you know, your kids are 10 and 8. You got 10 years and 8 years until you got to shell out for college. What are you doing? You know, you're paying $1,100 a month in car bills. Like, why are you doing that? Like, what if we paid these off? You pay these off, you can drop your insurance. You have to have full coverage on a paid off car. No, let's drop that. Like, and I would just show. So if you try to compare me to somebody else, they're gonna lose every time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because your payment might go up, your mortgage payment might go up, but overall, I'm saving you more money than anybody else, and they don't know how to figure it out. Then nobody knew how to figure it out. They'd be like, "Why? What do you mean he's saving you $4,000? He's saving me $4,000." Like, yes, I am, because I got him debt free. You know what I mean? Like, I paid off everything. I showed them they're going to my insurance guy to drop their insurance on their cars and their mortgage, everything, and they got $80,000 cash. What are you gonna do?
When I used to work sales, I mean, that's the only kind of job where, I had to go and convince people to, to buy what I was selling, door to door. I saw how, like, about 80% of the office did shady shit.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean,
the weak ones always do. The weak ones will always lie.
Yeah, a lot of lies, a lot of...
Or just allowing them, leaving out information or allowing them to think what they want to. Instead of stopping them saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, that's not how it works."
Getting them to sign the contract before, like, they explain everything. Yeah. And one thing I thought of when I was doing that, like, there were some dudes that, they were making like 10 G's every 2 weeks on shady shit.
Yeah.
So I just like thought of, man, if this happens here in this little ass office,
Oh yeah.
I can't even imagine when you get up, like you said, up to that level.
No, it's nuts. Well, that's why, again, that's the biggest problem with that law firm was mortgages are one thing. A mortgage, either you're getting a new home or you're refinancing your current home. Mm-hmm. And odds are you're getting cash or paying bills off, whatever. Mm-hmm. But when the shit hit the fan, people are just losing their homes.
Yeah.
So if you come to me saying, "Hey, I'm about to lose my home. I'm 3 months late. My wife lost her job. It's just me making this mortgage payment. I need help." A shitty salesman would tell you, "Just give us $3,000 and we'll fix it." That's scary. That's wrong. You know what I mean? So when
I see why some of these shady people, remember when the crash happened, they were killing themselves of guilt.
Yeah,
because some people die when they lose their houses or whatever.
Exactly. No, exactly. Because you're not just dealing with, and that's what I would explain to these guys. So I'd have to train. We had like 400 employees at one time, so I had to train like 80 at a time and be like, "Look, you're not selling our product. What you're doing is selling a lifestyle. You're selling these people their lives back to them. When you bought a house, this is called a single family residency for a reason. It's a single family. It's a family. When they bought a house, they saw the backyard, they saw the kitchen, they thought, we're going to have Christmas here. My son will be running in the backyard, even though he's still in her belly. Like, these are the things people envision. You got to bring that back so you understand why they have to take a shot with you. Mm-hmm. And by a shot, I mean, this is a law firm.
Yeah.
It's like if you came to me and said, "Hey, they said I killed that guy. I didn't kill him." Well, I don't know. I'm going to help you. And either they give you the chair tomorrow, maybe they give you 20 years, maybe they give you life, maybe they let you go. I don't know. You're going to pay me to find out. That's all a law firm ever does.
Yeah.
You're just paying somebody to do what you can do on your own legally. That's it. Or technically, not even legally. Technically do it legally for you. That's what you're paying a law firm to do. And so that was my role, to show these shitty salesmen how to sell this correctly, because the wrong way is like, "Oh, you're losing your house, you're scared. Tell wife it'll be okay, just send me $3,000. And so what would you do?
Yeah.
You beg, borrow, and steal to get me the money. And then that's not what it's about. It's about, we're going to try and save you. Because if you really heard the truth, you might not do it.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind. I don't want that on my conscience. I've never screwed anybody over like that. Like, if I can help you, I will. It looks good, and I'll give it a shot, but I still can't promise you anything. Who knows? If your bank decides tomorrow they don't do this anymore, they don't do it anymore.
So, you did that how long? Because, like, I'm trying to
2.5 years. So the market crashed. Actually, no, 4 years. Because again, I started the company while I had the mortgage company.
Yeah.
So for about a year we did it in 2006. The market crashed 2007. It was official. Mm-hmm. And then I did that till we moved back here in 2000, early 2010. So 4
your
years.
stress level from doing that to now just working.
Oh, it's
cakes.
way. You know what?
Explain your lifestyle change on that.
So
That's a whole
check this. I was explaining this the other day. So I went from the car business.
Yeah.
Which nobody likes. Nobody's ever liked their car salesman.
Yeah.
Even if they like, you only buy from somebody that you like. Number one. So they love them at some point. But everybody goes home and goes, I got fucked.
Yeah.
So they're not your best friend after that.
Right.
Then I was in the mortgage industry, and same thing. People losing homes, or even if they kept their home, they're like, oh, I feel like that. Oh, this guy just said he got a 3%. I got a 4%. He fucked me. Like, no, you didn't. Like, you can't. There are no apples to apples. You know what I mean? Like your credit score, your income, everything's different. But as far as friends talking to friends, we're all the same.
Yeah.
And I got fucked. You got a better deal. So I, as your mortgage guy, I'm a bad guy.
Yeah.
And then with the law firm shit, fuck, I'm a bad guy. So when it came to now, when I walk in with a cake, they're like, "Oh my god,
you're still a bad guy."
The cake, no, they're like, "The cake guy is here." Like it's really fucking.
No one's gonna
weird.
hate the cake guy. Hell
Yeah,
no.
you can. How do you hate the cake guy? Like it's really fucking weird, especially if you're chunky. They're like, "Cake guy."
There you go. That means you're dipping into your own product. So first,
first you were attacking their finances. Now you're attacking their health. That's what
give everybody the beaties.
on a quick personal
and smiles
note,
too.
I did take Aaron with me when I bought the car that I have now, and I have the reason I have the car is because
the what was it the cruise.
The cruise, yeah.
I remember that.
But I was like, okay, I got to bring Aaron with me because my credit is just fucked, man. So thank you, Aaron, and thank you, the toothless Filipino dude named June that sold me the car.
Well, again,
Fremont Chevy, check them out.
There's nothing.
right.
There's nothing wrong with buying a car, doing anything. It's just you need to know the truth. And all I did was set up Jesus for what was going to happen, because I don't have good credit right now.
I'm a ghost. I just learned
the
term.
He was a ghost, which I mean, basically, it's the same as having bad credit. You're a ghost. You're non-existent. Yeah. So I just set him up for like, here's where you're gonna be. Here's
you have
what
no credits from the Empire.
you were like that scene from Taken when he's like, "Listen, dear, you're going to lay under your bed.
Exactly.
You're going to turn your phone. They're going to take you.
Exactly.
But when they take you, I need to yell out their descriptions as much as you can.
Yeah.
Because he knew, right?
No,
like he didn't sell her a false bill.
Exactly.
Most parents will be like, everything's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Like, but most parents don't know what to do in that situation other than comfort someone. But you have the expertise.
Not all parents are Leoneses.
Right. But when you have the expertise, you can like set someone up for the best win. Expectations and everything.
I've done a lot of horrible shit in my life, but
let's talk about that. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll get to that later.
But I feel like the truth. My mom always said, "I'm gonna fucking find out," and she did. Every lie about him spending the night here, I'm going there, whatever. She found out, and there are very few people that I've lied to in my life because it's not worth it. You know what I mean? That's what I tell my friends all the time. Like, dude, what about this girl? Blah blah. Like, dude, every girl hears the same story. Like when you meet a girl and you think things are cool, it's 2 weeks, a month in, and she asks you, "Are you seeing anybody else?" You're gonna lie, aren't you? Well, because, they're asking you to lie.
Yeah.
Don't lie. Be the one person who told her the truth. Well, no. Did you just land here on this planet? Like, either she has an ex or a side dick or whatever, and you have an ex or side post. Like, somebody's always lurking.
Yeah.
Just tell the truth. Hey, look, I do see other people, but you're interesting, and I see where this goes. Like, they're going to walk away and go, fuck this guy. But 9 times out of 10, they come right back and go, you know what? You're the only person who told me the truth. Like, the truth will set you free.
It comes out.
Yeah, it's going to come out. Like,
yeah.
why? Don't just set people up for what's right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This could be forever. This could not. I don't know. Don't tell people, oh, it's just me and you because they need pussy this week. Like, no.
I read an article on this very subject a while ago, and they were commenting on how dating culture changed. The article opened up and said, my grandfather has this story about how before he went off to World War II or the North Korean conflict, whatever it was, he had taken my grandma out for a few dates, and there was this understanding that they were going steady. And then when he came back from the military, they got married and lived happily ever after. And nowadays, that's complicated. And
that would never happen.
And, but they said it's funny because nowadays, because the dating landscape has changed, attitudes have changed. The best way to really ask someone this question without being like off-putting is you sit someone down and you go, so rather than saying things like, are you seeing anyone else right now? Are you in a committed relationship? You go, would someone's feelings be hurt if they knew you were out with me right now?
Yeah.
Which is a very subtle way of asking, are you a piece of shit?
Yeah. No, and that type of verbiage is exactly why it did well. Because instead of asking you dumb, she's like, I'm going to lead you to where I want you to be.
Yeah. Sales-wise,
whatever it is, I'm going to lead you. And if it doesn't go my way, it doesn't go my way. You know what I mean? Like, I've never in my life, and if anybody watching this wants to attest, please chime in below in the comments. I have never in my life said, send those ladies some drinks on me. Why the fuck would you do that? You know what I mean? Like, it's just not worth my time. Like, I am never going to do that. I'm going to set things up to where I don't get hurt. Like, hearing no sucks.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as men, we hear it all the time. That's what we're programmed to hear. Women rarely hear it, which is why, like in sales, generally, it's a male-dominated sport because
we can handle rejection.
We're used to rejection. You know what I mean?
And then women salespeople are sometimes
they're killing. No, that's why. That's what created most of my business was because in the car business, my brother would hire. So I was working for my brother on a team, and then he would hire good-looking women. He'd be like, I hired this one for you. And then I realized that obviously people would rather deal with the woman than me or any of these other guys.
Yeah.
So I would teach them to be stronger than me. Because if I could have my mouthpiece in this woman, you're done. You know what I mean? Like, you can't come in a car dealership with your wife. I would tell them, look, you're going to drive this car with this man and his wife. You're going to drop the keys once or twice and pick them up in front of him. And then when you come down to the table, you're going to pencil them, and you're the one that's going to tell them, okay, so it's $6,000 down, and it's $699 a month. You can afford that, right? And you're going to look that man dead in his eyes and say, you can afford that, right? What man says no? Even with his wife sitting there, they just stutter step.
Yeah.
And, like, let them do what they're going to do. His wife she might chime in. She might get pissed off. Whatever happens. You just stare at him and wait for him to say something, and that's our starting point. Because what happens is everybody lies, and everybody has the same, for whatever weird idea, 350 is the number everybody wants in the car. Mm-hmm. So they come in, they'll talk in the car. We're not going over 350. We have $1,000 down. So they go in, and by the time now they're sitting there, and this girl just looked her husband in the eye and said, it's $699 a month with $6,000 down. You can do that, right?
Damn. Yeah. It's put you on the spot.
So what happens is this. You let up all the information. You go, well, either the husband goes, look, I've got $2,000 down, but I'm not going over 450. Or the wife chimes in and just throws it out there. This is bullshit. There's no way we're paying for that. We have $2,000 and $450 a month. That's it. And that's the start. That's all I need. That's our starting point.
Yep.
And then then she'll bring it to me like, okay, I got to go see my manager thing. Then they come to me and I'm like, oh, good starting point. You bumped them. Now all I got to do is get another $1,000 out of you and another $100 a month and we're good.
Fell right into the trap.
Yeah. Well, because you can't. Women are going to demand a different answer out of a man. Just like again. When a woman asks a man, are you seeing anybody else? It's like, I've known you for 2 weeks. I didn't know you existed as a human being. You didn't know I existed. Did you just land here? Like, you got an ex-boyfriend. You have a child, for fuck's sake. Like, there's obviously somebody else that could be in the picture.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, not that you love this person or whatever, but, are you seeing them when you want to go have a movie and, make out or have like, who the fuck knows?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, like, if you're on good terms with your ex, especially from what I've seen, especially if you guys have a kid together, that they're probably going to be doing something physical at least once a year.
Oh hell no! Not me. That didn't happen. No. But no, you're right. But yeah, and I think that's the men's fault. Most men. That's why, like, any single mother I've ever met in my life will tell you he goes in for the hug still. He still will text me late at night. Not worth it. It's an ex for a reason. Let him go. Move on. You know what I mean? Like, Yeah, but
unless you're going to try to make it work and make them not an ex.
Exactly, but they're not going to, or they would have. You know what I mean? But no, it's just it boils down to that where tell people the truth, and it's gonna hurt, it's gonna sting, and it's just like I heard a boxer say one time, and again, not a sporting guy, but I listen to a lot of cool shit. So this boxer said, sometimes it makes more sense. Because the job of a boxer is to avoid getting hit in the fucking face.
Yep.
Avoid getting hit in the body. But you are going toe-to-toe with another human being who's trying to fucking punch the shit out of you. You're going to take a hit. And at some points it hits you. This guy's going to, I messed up. I'm in the wrong position. I need to lean into this punch. If I lean into this, I won't take a full punch and I'll be okay. It's the same thing. If you're, when the girl asks you, are you seeing anybody else? Or man, whatever, anybody asks you, just tell them the truth. Are you? Well, yeah, I've known you for 4 hours. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, aren't you seeing somebody else? Like, you're a beautiful woman. Like, you could probably go out every night this week for a free dinner and a movie, right?
Yeah.
How many times have you done that this week? Once? Twice? Twice, huh? Twice dinner and a movie? What movie did you see? And like, oh, okay. So I guess you got this round, huh?
Yeah.
Saving all that money, young lady.
Yeah, dude. And sometimes, even though something ended, like with another person, they're still.
No, look.
So that it's like whatever's new, they're still like unsure, but they're.
Everybody has a toe in the tub somewhere.
Yeah.
That's bottom line. Toe in the tub is somewhere, and relationships are an investment. They're an investment, and whether or not men don't like to admit it, but I mean, it's the same investment. You know what I mean? Like, you put in this time with this woman, and they might think it's just physical, or it might just be physical, but that's an investment.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah, and it's one of those investments that affects you, like just as much as if you were to lose a property.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. It's a.
JD, why are you crying?
Why you cry? Let's talk about it, JD.
Oh, dude. I don't want to get into it right now.
Who hurt you?
I love
I'm
coming.
looking at these guys.
I love
you
coming
be
to.
here by 9.
I love coming to this podcast in JD's house because you don't know, like, the voices coming from the wall. Are they arguing or are they watching a Mexican telenovela? Like, it could be either or. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Who like knows? That's my roommates.
Yeah.
It's usually
awesome.
one or the other. Most likely not novelas though on a Sunday.
I recognize like one of the actors' names. Like, okay, no, they're watching TV.
Oh yeah.
All I know is you sat me in the Deftones chat.
Dude,
I'm
I know.
I'm appreciative.
I know. When you mentioned that, like, so when I met Abe and Frank from Deftones, I talked to Abe more, and I actually talked to him about the podcast, and I showed him a picture. Look, dog, I fucking love you guys, and he was like, "Oh man," he said, "If one day it gets big enough that I hear about it, I'll come and do it."
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well, so that's my fucking plan to get
big
to
enough.
the
Well,
point.
tell him to come here, and then it'll be.
I know, right? Fucking do me the
You can
favor.
make that happen.
Maybe we could collaborate and have Aaron make him a cake, Deftones inspired, and say it's from the Voice Party.
Dude, I'd love to. That's one of the few.
That's actually not a bad idea.
That's one of the few. The problem is the Deftones are a working band.
Yeah.
They fucking work. And these guys they're out. You know what I mean? Like they don't just chill in Sacramento. They're gone.
They were that day. I was lucky. They were that day.
It definitely happens, but they're not, like again, Metallica, these guys fucking work their asses off too, but
who's it?
Metallica. They'll tour for 2-3 years at a time.
Yeah.
But then they'll be home and do whatever they gotta do. But I would love that's one of the few I haven't like shaken hands with or groveled to is Deftones.
For me that was huge, man, because I'm big.
Yeah.
I've seen them the last 3 times they're in the area. I went to go see them, and
I've seen them. I've seen Chino as Deftones, Crosses, Palms. Yeah.
Palms. I haven't seen those, but like ever since the reason I heard about Deftones is I used to wear Dickies a lot. I still do.
Yeah.
But I was wearing Dickies, and I don't know what it was. Someone said, because the way I combed my hair at the time, well, I kind of still do.
You like the Deftones?
You have a Chino Moreno swag to you. I'm like, what? And then this dude started calling me Gordo Moreno, Chino Moreno's brother. Because I had the facial hair. Gordo Moreno is Chino Moreno's brother. And I was just like, huh? Like what? And then I looked him up. I was like, oh shit.
You know what? That's the weirdest thing, because I don't think that happens a lot. I get that same thing where like, you like the Deftones, huh? Like, how the fuck do you know that? Like, I don't know. You're wearing Dickies, Converse and your hair.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
And then I listened to them and I fucking loved them. Yeah. So it was like, all right, cool. Yeah. I guess.
How did this man know me?
Yeah.
Song of your soul.
So, damn, man, we got deep in there with the whole.
Fuck your relationship. All right, moving on.
These guys like know what I'm talking about. It was just,
By the way, for the listeners, you guys can't see this, but Jennifer Aniston is on TV and she's amazing.
I got my Friends cup in my hand.
Yeah, so
Central Perk.
This is probably one of the biggest Friends fan that I've ever met.
I've done a couple Friends cakes. They're like the funnest ones to do. Oh yeah.
What was it that you did?
One was the couch. The centerpiece was the couch.
The couch.
On the purple cake with the Central Perk in the front, and then the other a lot of them were the the door frame on the door with the peephole.
Yeah.
And it's always like the one about John's birthday or whatever. Like,
yeah. Earlier is the fastest I've ever seen Phil move. It's like, are you still watching? He's like, God damn, fuck yes, I'm watching.
Well, when it comes to Friends, there's no bullshit with Phil, dude. We were wondering when you were on your way here, the first person brought mimosas, and then the second person brought tacos. Like, I wonder if he's gonna bring a cake. No, I'm just
you know what?
we're fucking.
Well, no,
you guys brought beer. You guys brought beer.
Well, here's the thing.
Did say he.
I was gonna bring you some art or something for the studio.
No, all right, I appreciate it. We were just joking though.
Yeah. No, look, man,
it's all laughs.
You don't. I was taught you don't show up anywhere empty-handed.
You didn't though.
Yeah.
It was,
but still, like
you brought Jesus. He's not leaving, dude.
Yeah, you got to get him a ride home tomorrow. By the way.
Okay. To make it up to JD, can you paint him like one of your charcuterie girls?
Hey, yeah, I with some handcuffs and like my legs tied up,
like a turkey,
and like someone force feeding me vegetables. Like, that's torture for me, and all tied up.
No, I was planning on bringing you something cool.
No, we're just.
And then I was looking like fucking like everything I have wouldn't.
You guys
not your thing.
You guys brought beer, man. It's all good.
But cakes I never bring.
Really? Oh yeah, that's your.
It's just I don't know.
No, yeah, I can imagine that's
like it's rare if I bring a cake for people. Are like, why don't you bring a cake? Like, dude, because fuck it.
Come on, Da Vinci, why don't you bring a Mona Lisa?
Yeah, right.
That's man.
It's like, hey, you're a comic. How come you didn't bring another comic?
Oh, tell a
Be
joke.
Funny right now.
Now. Tell me a joke. I got asked that in an interview I did. These YouTubers on their channel, and they interviewed me, and I was just more than the comedy. I was doing just plugging the podcast.
Yeah,
that's really what I wanted.
Yeah.
It was all about the voice party, and the first thing they asked me was, "So you're a comedian? Tell us a joke." And
yeah, if you want any comedian to freeze the fuck up, that's how you do it.
Put him on the spot.
Say something funny right now. Go.
Yeah, who is it? Hannibal Buress has a joke that he has in his head for every time that they ask him that, and it's not his joke, but it's something that throws him off because it's hella chauvinistic. And
I know he brought up the one about the girl. It's like, tell me a joke, I'll show you my tits.
Oh yeah,
and he's like, I should have just said something stupid.
Yeah, no, the other one, this one, he actually says the joke. He says they ask him, and he says, do you support giving women's rights? And then he's like, yes. And it's like, I do too, as long as I can also give him my left. And it just throws people off. They're like, oh shit, I shouldn't have asked.
Damn.
We're gonna get canceled after this.
The network's gonna pull our plug. Oh wait, no, we are the network.
Oh,
our funding's gonna be cut.
Like, goddamn, Joaquin got pissed off, and
he's gonna censor that. No, So when you worked for Kirk Hammett, for example, how much creative control do you have over what you make? Like for those guys, like, you know, do you get to just, do they give you like
pretty much every 95% of my clientele are really cool, and they're just like, this is the idea, you know, do this or something like this.
Right.
So yeah, they're totally cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they just give you like a, you know, like,
only rarely, like if actually some of the stuff I don't post, like if someone's like, I want this, and I'm like, dude, that's not a good idea.
So you do it anyways, right?
I'll do it. I mean, I'm a whore. I need the money. But like, I have 2 bad reviews on Yelp. But,
really?
Yeah, 2.
What were they about?
Everything's 5. I have 113 5-star Yelp reviews and 2 bad ones. So one is this cunt who calls me, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't fit this in. I booked out a couple months in advance. My apologies. I send the same form letter out every time. Like, I'm sorry. Let me know if I can help you in the future. She goes on Yelp and says, I guess they can't help you if you need a cake in 2 weeks, so don't call them. I'm like, you fucking cunt. Like, why can you even leave a Yelp review about that? Like, you didn't work with me.
That's what I don't like about Yelp. And some people shouldn't be voiced. You know, they shouldn't have a voice to
I feel like everything should be weighed. Like, you should look at it and does this make sense? You know what I mean? Like, it's not like
you bought a shitty cake. They told you no.
Exactly. You know? I told her nicely, I'm sorry, I'm booked. You know what I mean? Like, I'd get it if you're at McDonald's and they piss her off, sure. You know, but like, dude, this is custom stuff. You expect me to, like, people will call, like,
it's a small company too.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah, and just like it says, I put on there, like, just like I said, we is me, just like it says, and all this stuff. Like, I'm a one-man show. Like, what do you want me to do? But one guy, he comes to me and goes, he wants a cake for him and his girlfriend. Mm-hmm. To feed like 10 people, which is a tiny cake. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, it's a birthday. And like, what are you thinking? And he goes, well, I wanted to have a bus with her luggage standing next to it. Her at some, like, with a beer. Her, like, all this, like, intricate shit. I'm like, dude, like, this isn't a Lego set I'm making for you, man. Like that's not gonna.
I'm not a 3D printer, bro.
Yeah, I'm like, this is not gonna translate well, man.
Yeah.
Like, why don't we just make something cute or pretty for this woman? You know what I mean? Like, make a cake, you know, bouquet of flowers or something cute, you know. But you don't want, because number one, every image of her, every human being I make, it's gonna be too small to make look like her. It's going to be a little person with brown hair, if you tell me she has brown hair.
She had pink hair at the time, and she was really upset, so I want you to capture that. When you
So I kept telling him, like, dude, this is not a good idea. I'll do it if you want me to, but it's just not a good idea.
Yeah.
So he's like, no, this is what I want. Fine. So I take it to him, hand it to the guy, and he's like, this is awesome. Thank you so much. I love it. And I'm thinking, this is the stupidest cake I've ever seen, but if you love it, fine.
Yeah.
I leave, and then I get a bad Yelp review from him.
Wow.
And he's like, first he says, the cake was hard. The outside was hard. It's fucking fondant. It's cold fondant. Yeah, it's like clay.
Yeah.
Like, that's what fondant is, buddy. And then he's like, it didn't come out the way I imagined. Like, yeah, it looks stupid. I told you this was going to look stupid. This is your fault. And then what happened?
She broke up with him.
No. I wish. A girl chimes in and says, my friend got me a cake, and I think he paid too much, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, so you're not even the girlfriend.
Oh, he's trying to win.
Like, you were friend-zoned as fuck, and you're just spending money on cakes. Like, you sorry.
What a fucking sore loser, dude.
So generally, I don't reach out, but I had to hit him up. I'm like, dude, you saw me and you looked me in my face and said this was great. You loved it. She's gonna love it. Be a fucking man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually what sparked her to leave her review.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, be a fucking man and tell me if you didn't like it. Because I didn't like this cake, just like I told you I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like, be a fucking man.
Yeah.
Like I would have gladly walked away with this cake and handed you your money back. But you're the one that was like, this is great. I'm thinking this is stupid. Like, be a fucking man, you pussy.
Ooh.
And then she chimes in, my friend bought a cake and I think he paid too much. I'm like, oh, your friend. Oh, you friend zone motherfucker.
She had in parentheses, who I'm not fucking.
Exactly.
And then it's like, oh.
My boyfriend is so mad that my friend bought me this cake.
He broke in the house and brought me this cake.
her boyfriend is probably like, this shit's good though.
This is the one that was supposed to win her over.
What's the craziest like event you did a cake for? Like something that's like, what the hell? Like, not a funeral, but like something. Because I imagine you get probably hit up to make some weird shit.
I've done divorce parties, and like I did a corporate event where I don't know who it was. It must have been somebody big in the company. They were doing like a huge. It was a baby cake where they wanted it. They wanted a baby butt cake. Because she's having a baby.
That was just some pervert.
And they're like, "Oh, can do you have like poo in there?" And I'm like,
"Was that for a Catholic church?" No.
They just use this
chocolate frosting for the poo.
Disguise. Like, we're having a baby. Don't worry about it.
It's all dudes.
Did you do a divorce party? Did I hear you right? I had never heard of divorce
parties.
Really?
Big. Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
They're a big deal.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard of those. Yep.
Yeah. People, come on. What do you think a gender reveal is? A gender reveal is unnecessary as fuck. It's the same thing.
People just like the party.
Was it you or Brenda that I just saw someone posted they did a divorce cake and it says goodbye limp dick or something like that?
Shit.
Oh, disrespect.
And the divorce is
wow.
The cake, is the limp dick over.
Well, so
I saw that. Yep.
I have had to do my share of dicks and pussies.
That's.
And actually, I remember posting one. Because when I had the bakery, I wouldn't post.
Well, you had a bakery.
Yeah, like a physical bakery at the mall. I wouldn't post like my personal stuff. It was just cakes.
Okay.
So like when it came to like dicks and pussy cakes and things like,
I seen him naked.
I wouldn't post them there. But on mine, because mine is it goes from kids, cakes, art, kinky art, horror art, to Satanism. So what I run the gambit.
You've done Satanist parties.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, well, no, but I mean, like my post. My post will go. My post will be a little dark.
Like there's some weird like. The reason I ask is I know, like rich people do some weird shit. Like rich,
like count money.
Yeah, like not stress over rent. No,
that's creepy.
So I worked at Chase Center, and I worked there for like the first month and a half after they had their first events. So I saw when Metallica was setting up there, heard, all these other musicians, WWE, and before any event happened, they had the owners and like their investors, the group, they had this weird party in the stadium with like only like 12 tables deep, like it was a small group.
Yeah.
And they had Stevie Wonder perform. Yeah. But the party itself was like weird, dude. It reminded me of, and I'll tell you, you seen Eyes Wide Shut?
Oh yeah.
It reminded me of Eyes Wide Shut, like straight up.
That's fucked up. Stevie
Wonder was a blind guy. They probably played noise for him to think that there's a pack full of people in there.
Put these headphones on, Stevie.
Yeah, and just play your music. A blind guy playing, and it looked weird.
They're sacrificing a baby in front of
Oh shit!
No. Isn't she lovely?
And then he's looking around.
They have headphones of the audience screaming, and
But it's just Rosemary's Baby going on in front of him. I'm a big fan of anything that fucks up the current culture. Please, like please. Some of my favorite cakes are from friends of mine that like want like like Charles Manson cakes or
oh shit,
like dark shit. Like I'm a big fan. Let's do anything that.
So you like stuff that like just throws off people, like scary.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It's the easiest way to judge. That's why I like the name of my company is Misery Loves Company. Misery Loves Company?
Misery Loves Company.
I do, obviously I do fucking cutesy fucking Elmo cakes, whatever you need. Mm-hmm. But in the end, my name keeps people away that I don't want to work with. You know what I mean? Like, people look at it and go, what the fuck is this? And they'll see some dark shit and be like, I'm not working with them. I'm like, good. There's no way I want to work with you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like having a heckler, we're never gonna be cool. Just get the fuck out.
Right. And then a couple wandering in from Nebraska or just why is there a vagina on the dear? I think we need to find another establishment.
Yeah. Time to leave then. Nobody asked you to be here.
Right.
No, that's why I don't mind. Like people, like we have a comedian friend of ours who always wonders, like, about Aaron's kids are so amazing, but he's a Satanist. What the fuck?
Oh, but you're not actually a Satanist.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
It's
the word Satan means opposing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you just are anti. Well, I mean, it's.
I'm a big fan of anything that will fuck up the patriarchy and just the bullshit that our societies.
Phil's grabbing his holy water.
And the friends, you can leave friends.
Well, I mean, you're not going...
Ironically, though, his homie's Jesus, so that's...
I know, right?
That's the only Jesus I hang out with.
But I mean, you're not... Do you attend, like, any of the Satanist churches?
I don't think you would
that?
answer that, no.
Yeah, the Church of Satan in San Jose, they do...
Oh,
outings.
they have one?
Oh, yeah.
See, but the thing
They
is...
had a Christmas tree every year.
Here's the thing. You don't... You still got to go to church.
That's the worst place to go.
I'm kidding.
I'm not allowed.
Oh, okay.
I'm not allowed.
No.
Wait, you're not allowed in the Church of Satan?
Oh, no, in Church of Satan, yeah.
I was going to say.
No.
Everybody is allowed in Church of Satan, by the way. Because, again, it's not a real church. It's just people congregating to do something good.
Okay.
Like right now, today, they just posted about Tijuana Children's... what's it called? Orphanage.
Orphanage, yeah.
Where all these kids want are, like drawing materials and crafts. So they're just asking for donations. They're not asking for fucking money. They're not asking for cash. They're just asking for donations to help, these kids want to just do something creative while they're there. That's it. Like, that's what the Church of Satan is doing. That's it.
It's doing the same thing that the real church, the Christian church should be doing, which so many of them aren't.
There's no real church. Yeah, they're not. They're not. They're putting money in their fucking pockets. That's it.
I know like one or two. I go to one that's pretty decent with that sort of thing.
Satanic church?
No.
I was like, wait,
Christian church.
Yeah.
Christian church. I do not attend the Church of Satan for all of my fellow churchgoers. But I'm not bashing the Church of Satan. I mean, this is complicated.
I just think it is complicated. I just feel like any who said it? Not Malcolm X. Somebody said, like, if it is done for you what it is done today, it needs to be left in the closet. Like, you don't need to promote your religion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just like promoting your nationality. We did nothing to earn this. Although religion, you've don't want to say chosen, but you're permanently indisposed to it. Mm-hmm. Like, guess what? If you're born in the United States, odds are you're Christian or Catholic. Congratulations. You know what I mean? So that's when, I don't give a fuck about sports. Mm-hmm. But I will appreciate somebody who picks out a team not from here.
Yeah.
Like, that person I'll respect. Like, my sister-in-law is the biggest San Diego Chargers fan in the world. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I appreciate that. Because she knows whoever those fucking people are on that team.
Yeah.
And she loves them and she follows them.
Mm-hmm.
That's like living here and being a Muslim or a Hindi or whatever. Like, you were born here, raised here, and you decided this is my path. I love this. Mm-hmm. I can respect it. But don't tell me you're raised in the United States and,
Yeah. I will say, having grown up like in Arkansas as a kid and then moving out here, that, the Bay Area is one of the most liberal and I don't even want to say just tolerant, like accepting places in the world to be, any religion other than Christianity. Like, so I'm like, I don't necessarily give...
Which is a lovely thing.
Right.
But having been there and knowing if you were to take back a sample lot of humans from here to there, how many of them would be just harassed or just shunned?
that was the point I was bringing up. It's like, here it's easy. But I would applaud you if you were wearing, wearing your traditional garb, walking down my old small town, and that would take true bravery. Yeah. Like, and there are people here that often complain, and go, "Oh, we're discriminated against." I'm like, "No, you're fucking not.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Yeah. It was that one store and some weirdo.
Go south of the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah. That Bible Belt will fuck things up. Oh yeah.
So I'm like, no, it's easy street here.
Yeah. No, 100%. I agree with you. That's why so when I was working in Oakland, that was when the whole 99%er thing was happening, and our office was in Frank Agawa Center in Oakland. So everything that's the courthouse, that's everything right there, and so the front of our office, that whole strip was taken over by the 99%. These people protesting, which I agree, shit's gone wrong, but I'm like, dude, you're in a Coleman tent on an iPhone wearing fucking Nikes in California. Like, you are the 1%. Yeah. Congratulations, bro. Like, what are you arguing about? Like, our job as humans is to take care of you and yours better than you can. So if somebody said, here's the opportunity to make $30 billion a year, you would set up you and your family first. Mm-hmm. You and your kids, their that's all you would think about. You know what I mean? That's what you do. Mm-hmm. Yes, there's a part of you that's going to try and help people, but can you really blame these? I mean, they're just assholes in the end, but can you blame them for trying to overly protect their families? Because all they see is, this is what we've done. We've made billions, and my family is a legacy, and I want my grandchildren, their grandchildren to be taken care of. So we're going to keep fucking the system and take care of my family. Like,
here's what's funny about that. Like, when this country was founded, I mean, officially, if you really look at the history of it, it was really the tax issues were the no representation bit wasn't so much just about the lack of influence we had in Britain. It was also business interests, right? Oh, but you take the sentiment of, well, let's break down the aristocracy and the monarchy and make it truly free. The problem with that is that what was it? Was it Thomas Jefferson that said you need a revolution every so many hundred years in order to keep things good? Yeah. And that's kind of, we were just talking about how the job market changed, right? There used to be jobs where you could work for 30 years, and now people are trying to cut corners and kill you off at your kneecaps, and it's getting harder. And it's because of monopolies, old systems. We basically have rebuilt a new aristocracy.
Oh, 100%.
But people are saying, well, no. We still have this social mobility, and that's why we justify keeping a lot of things the way they are. But the social mobility is just a mask for the most part.
It's just like those people who are in Coleman tents with their iPhones and their Nikes on, that 99%, that are spray painting buildings, that our employees are the lady that has to clean our office has to now scrub the front of the building to get their spray paint off. Like, it's a mask that shrouds everybody. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, we're all stuck in this bullshit. You got to figure out your way, the clarity of it. You know what I mean? Like, you got to find some clarity in your system, because it's just untrue what you've been shown. And I don't mean that in some weird fucking conspiracy way, but I mean, it is what it is. Like, I don't know. It's like you said, like the job thing. It's changed, and there's no going back. Like, you're never gonna talk at Google or Facebook or LinkedIn to thinking, no, people need to be there for 20 years. They got to be there for 20 years. And you got to pay them a pension and stick around. Like, no, because what happens? That employee is obviously gonna kick back. Oh, I've been here for 15. I got 4 more, and then I'm done. You know what I mean? Like, that is what happened. Lockheed Martin, Raychem, all these companies that were doing well, and then employees are just kicking up their feet going, I got a few more years, my tenure's up. Nobody can fuck with me. I'm in the union. I'm good. Like, the worker gets lazy, the employer is going to take. So there's a hard line. You know what I mean? Like, it's not black and white. It's like gun control. It's a culture in our country. You're never going to go back. Shit's fucked up. You're not going back. It's just like employment. You're not going to go back from what has happened now. What these tech companies have created is, you're going to work for 3-4 years, give us your best, and you're going to move on. which means you're going to work for the rest of your life until you can hopefully retire. Years ago, not so much. Like, oh, fuck it, I'm going to opt out early. I'm going to opt out at 55, 60. I'll be okay on my pension from Lucky's. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was telling my son fucked up a while ago.
Spent all his pension. No.
Yeah, spent my pension. He, he's in high school.
Yeah.
Sophomore. Plays lacrosse. Good student. Good kid. His mom catches him in the kitchen, 11:30 at night. Lacrosse practice. Doing homework till 11:30. Still doing homework. Goes to the kitchen, get food. She talks to him about college. He's fucking 15. He's a sophomore. What do you think he's going to say? He said something to the effect of, I was thinking about taking a year off before going to school.
Oh.
And so she, understandably, she's worked her ass off. She's a nurse now. She's worked her ass off. She did what she had to do. But she's upset because her son said some dumb shit. So she calls me, and we don't talk. We just text, like, I'm picking him up, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. Like,
oh, it's okay. You guys are not.
No.
Okay.
So she's like, I need to talk to you. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, all right, look, first of all, calm down. He's 15. He had a long fucking day. And he said some dumb shit. He tried you on for size. Like, he knows he's going to go to college. Like, I don't care if it's junior college, whatever. He's going to do something because he needs to have that under his belt. Like, and she was upset, which I understand. But I'm like, look, the bottom line is he has to have a foundation, and he knows that. But and sort of when I talk to him, he's like, Dad, I fucked up. I just said it out loud. I'm like, I know, but do you think me or her have the, here's 50 grand, go backpacking about Europe for a year? No. So fuck you. You're going to school. Or you're paying rent, which means you're fucked. Like, because you can't do that. So we had to break down everything. I'm like, look, and everything I do for my kids is the same. I have a daughter and a son, and I get the same speech. I don't sugarcoat shit. It is what it is. This is life. This is how it works. So, like, look, let's go over the basics. In the East Bay, they see the average income is $6 grand a month. That's incorrect, but let's say that's what it is.
I was going to say.
If you've got a great tax guy, let's say you take home $5 grand a month. I'm like, in Fremont where I live, a one-bedroom apartment is $2,700 a month. Now, let's work from there. So we go over everything. Insurance, gas, food, blah, 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 entertainment. Like, you like to go to the movies, right? 'Cause my son's a big, movie, comic book kid. You like to go to the movies, right? Like, let's give you $100 a month entertainment expense. Like, you realize when the three of us go to the movies, that's $75 for tickets and maybe some food that we snuck in. So if you're an adult...
Bring Uncle Jesus, too.
Yeah, if you're an adult and you're bringing a girl with you, that's tickets, popcorn, and a drink at the theater, and that's it. You're not going to dinner.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. So we go
popcorn is your dinner.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going over everything. I'm like, so at the end of the month, you've got $84 left over. Are you saving that for your $1 million fixer-upper? Probably not, because you probably need new shoes or an oil change, and you're fucked. Like, so your job is to figure out how to survive. How to make this work well for you. Not survive, but work well. So you're going to need college under your belt for something. I don't know what. I can't claim to know what, because I have friends that have gone to school for X, and very quickly, that turned. It no longer exists. Now what are you going to do? Like, if you can't figure out how to sustain yourself.
You never know where a degree is going to lead you. My grandfather had a friend who had gone to, I don't know, one of those business colleges, like you remember the Carrington, or Western Career, or whatever, and or it was something like that years back though, and he was applying to work at IBM. And he's like, hey, look, I got this business degree. And the dude was like, you got anything else? Because, did you go to an actual university? Yeah. And then they were like, well, I mean, I do have this philosophy degree from SF State. And they're like, oh, philosophy degree.
Or something.
Great. So then they hired him to be in the think tank.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
which is an awesome job.
And so who'd have thought that like a philosophy degree would be good anywhere? Well, but the fact that you have a degree from a reputable place shows the basics. It shows that you're hireable because you're committed.
That's all it's showing you, is that you can commit to go from A to Z. Because everybody at some point has enrolled in college. Everybody. But what it's showing you is that you can commit from A to Z without somebody with a gun to your head like the military. You know what I mean? Which is why I'm explaining to my kids, same thing. It's like, this is what you've got to prove to somebody you can do something. And that's all that's helping with. Because I can't, again, I won't claim to tell you, son, you've got to do this because that job might not exist in 6 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's the same with everything else. And with the changing tide of the workforce, that's the beauty that this has done. Yes, jobs went from up home where you're there for 15, 20, 30 years, you retire. But they have taught people that, like Elon Musk is the first to say, I will hire somebody that can do the job. I don't care what their degree is. If they can prove to do that job, I will hire them for it. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
You know, because I have a high school degree, but I've done a lot of crazy shit. You know what I mean? Like, I ran an inspection laboratory, which is all math every day, all day long, and I hate math, but I do what I have to do to get paid.
Oh, yeah.
I ran a fucking law firm. You know what I mean? Because I could do the job. I lucked my way in and talked my way in and shit, but that's the beauty of what the new tech has brought, at least to this area, is they will hire somebody that can prove to do the job. You know what I mean? That's it. And it's hard for a lot of people to take on either side of the fence. You know, can I do that? But I have a degree, or well, I can do it. Like, it is what it is. Like, you have to hustle.
Yeah. I have a friend who has a gig as a software engineer in a smaller firm over in Silicon Valley. And I get the idea that he started off working as a contractor for some other company. And then he got an offer, or he did some feelers, and then he found this other position. Seems like they like him. I would think that, with software programmers, I figured, we were talking about the whole 4 years and you're done. I think he's been there like maybe 5 by now. And I get the idea that maybe for certain specializations, like computer programming could be, at least at this juncture, still a little hard to come by for really good programmers. So maybe you might want to hold on to them for like more than a decade. Yeah. But for people who are sales, softer skills that, you might still pay well for that in a tech company, but you're like, anyone can talk. Anyone can sell this stuff. So after 5 years, you're done. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, but that's the beauty of sales. That's why, I've never been afraid, because I was brought up into sales. So no matter what, I'm going to make money. Yeah. Bottom line. I don't give a... If I have to go sell cell phones, which I don't think exists anymore, but like...
Door to door?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Remember? Yeah. Right. Steak knives and vacuums.
Put in... Curvy vacuums?
Yeah. A good salesperson will always find a way to make money. Yeah. That's it. You know what I mean? Because in the end, all you're doing is selling yourself. You go to interview, you're just selling yourself. Mm-hmm. I have to teach people. I have a friend who owns a company who basically teaches people how to interview. Wow. And he's doing really well. Because although a lot of these Bay Area kids are educated and they've got the backing and they've got, even the parents that can set them up places, they can't fucking interview. They don't know how to really project themselves and say, this is what I can do for you. This is why you need me. They don't know how to ask. They don't know that you should be asking more questions than your interviewee. Mm-hmm. If you're being interviewed, you should be asking way more questions than they are.
Because then that puts the person that's giving you the interview on the spot to work to get you.
Oh, everything in life,
psychological aspect of that.
Everything in life is about control. Whether it's sex, work, it's about control. Either
drinking,
giving it up. Exactly. Drink. Like, how much control do you have over your drinking? You know what I mean?
Jesus. No comment.
It's about giving up control or keeping control. And an interview is one of those biggest things. It's understanding that, hey, this person's gonna ask me, well, what would you say your weaknesses, your strengths? Like, answer those dumb questions. That's like, so let me just ask you a question. If you were to hire me today, in 6 months, do you think you'd be happy with me, knowing what you know about me now? Now, what are most people going to say?
Man.
They have to say yes.
Yep.
Yes. You're not going to tell another human being no. Unless you're looking like a crackhead, they're going to be like, fuck, yeah, I think this might be, okay, good. So in 6 months, you'd be happy with me being here, and you're looking for A, B, and C, right, of an employee that does fill this position. Yes. Okay. Would you say I fit those right now? They're going to say yes. Okay. Okay, great. So when do you think I'll hear from you about the position? And at that point, they're like, fuck, this fucking person's hired. You know what I mean? Like,
Take my job.
Yeah, no, exactly. No. That's the only time it's an issue.
That's a Jedi mind trick.
Well,
right
yeah.
there.
But that literally is the only time it's an issue right now in the tech field is when people think, oh, fuck.
This guy's coming for my job.
Yeah.
I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's you know, I got a family member interview where I was working at Comcast, and I told him, you know what, go ahead and ask the guy questions. It's your livelihood changing by joining this company, so go ahead and ask questions. And kind of an idiot. The question he asked, the interviewer told me, it's like, you know what he asked me? I was like, well, what? Well, first of all, he didn't get the job, just so you know. Like, well, what did
Was
he
it
ask?
based on the on what he asked?
Yes. He says, how many times do you would I have to be late in order to get fired?
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's a terrible question to ask.
He's like, JD said to be honest. JD said to be honest.
All right, some things are too honest.
You're just like, well, I mean, there may be times, several, where I possibly will not show up to work. I just need to
I
know
have a drinking problem.
how many times I
Prevents me from being up early.
So I call in sick after Raiders games.
Did Comcast say 5?
Yeah.
Look, man,
By the way, I used to work for Comcast.
And they gave him a real number?
Oh, yeah.
Per that manual, it's 5.
if I were sitting in there, I'd say, well, look, I'd give my example. I've been working in the same spot for over 10 years in high school, and I've only not come in. I've only been absent twice. Once when I broke my leg after being hit by a car. My light was green, by the way.
Hold on.
And I was out for like a month and some change.
Were you driving it? No, I'm just kidding. Did you T-bone Aaron?
Is that a big rig you were driving?
And you had mentioned you got hit by it earlier. I got to ask you about that. But,
Were you trying to cross the street when that happened?
My tibia and my fibula both snapped clean.
Oh, shit.
Like, it was the weirdest thing. Here I am walking across the street. The car had actually stopped several feet before the crosswalk.
And then what?
And then decided to, room. And it was dark, too, because I was leaving the after-school program. So just wham. It was a maroon car. I didn't catch the license plate. It didn't stop.
Oh, really?
If you're listening out there and you remember 2015 February 13th, because it was a few days before Valentine's Day, and I had promised my after-school kids, second and third graders, that I was going to give them a Valentine's Day party. You fuck.
That's fucked up.
Anyway, so yeah, I was out from that date in February until about mid to late April. And then about a year or two ago, I was out because I'd gone to meet a friend for lunch, and they had to cancel, which was fine. I was like, all right. So I went and had something anyway. It was like pea soup. And I'm on my way home, and I'm walking down the street, down the hill, and I end up losing it in my neighbor's gardenias, vomiting.
Oh, no shit.
You know what I mean? And then I get inside the house, and I just lay down, right? I don't wake up, and it's like Saturday at 2 o'clock. I don't wake up until Sunday 11 the next day. I'm just drenched in sweat. I'm literally in a swimming pool in my bed. And I call Phil, the producer of this podcast, and I'm like, bro, I think I'm really dehydrated. I think I need some Gatorade. I'll pay you back when you get here, bro. I just can't, and then so he's like, I got your back. So he shows up with these 2 giant jugs of Gatorade, and I'm like, all right, buddy, he's like, no, don't worry about it. I got you. So then true story, I gulp as much of it down as I can. I go back to bed. I wake up the next day still feeling awful. It's like an hour after I'm supposed to go into work, so I call in sick. And then I go to my kitchen, and I'm groggy as all get out, and I go to make myself another cup of Gatorade, and the next thing you know, my eyes are opening up, my head is on a pillow, and I'm like, wait, this is not my bed. Why am I'm on the kitchen floor. My grandparents are like, we didn't really know what else to do with you.
What?
So are you okay? I was out for the whole week. I must have been the flu or something.
That's not the flu. Somebody dosed you with some pea soup.
I had I had
Satanist cult.
Somebody wanted some Joaquin.
I had
Just one more sip.
I had a
Someone took your chon chon, bro.
I was battling fever and everything else for like that whole. It was crazy.
Wow.
The doctor cleared me to like not work for the rest of the week, and then some change, and then I finally cleared up and was able to get to work. But those are the only 2 instances where I was absent from work.
Yeah, no, nobody. Yeah,
Damn.
good.
It's that
shit.
time you met Bill Cosby and you passed out, didn't know what you woke up.
Uncle Bill, I don't feel good.
Slipped it in the pudding.
Had
man.
a pudding pop though.
It wasn't meant for me though. It was meant for like it was meant for the young lady next to me. I picked up the wrong pudding pop. She picked up the right. She picked up the wrong pudding pop. That's what happened. All right.
Uncle Bill kept saying, "You're right. You're right."
Is that fool in jail? I
Yeah,
lost
he's
track.
in jail.
I lost
He's
track
in
of
jail.
that whole thing.
Yeah,
so
He's in jail.
Is he really in jail? Like,
Well,
is he or
No, he's not in celebrity jail. He's in actual jail.
He's in actual jail, as you
That's-
should be.
Yep. That's
For
what-
being like one of the most prolific rapists in the United States that we know of, anyways.
Phil? Are you still
Are we
watching?
still watching Friends?
Phil, are you still watching?
Still watching Friends.
feels
Man.
like yes, I am.
You goddamn right.
We're coming to the end of the second hour, bro. And
A second hour already?
yeah,
Is that why I gotta pee?
yeah, and I just wanted before we go, man, I wanted to thank you for coming out, bro, because
Thank you
I
guys
know
for
your
having me.
weekends is probably your busiest time.
They are.
And-
yeah.
For bringing this goof over here, I haven't seen in a
I
while.
always roll
Always a
with Jesus.
welcome guest.
Thank you. Thank you.
He has to have a balance. Satan, Jesus. And
That's true. If people want to reach out to you to see where they can contact you for what you do,
Yes.
or shit from after everything we talked about, advice on work and salesmanship.
Or like a lot
That's
of
not a
my
word.
friends who want to save my soul. Either way,
Yes,
I can be reached at miserylovesco.biz.
Misery Loves Co.
Biz. It's not a .com. It's a .biz.
BIZ.
But BIZ.
/ GeoCities.
Or my Instagram's probably the best way to get a hold of me and see my life, or just see a little bit of everything. Whether
Okay.
you want art, cakes, whatever. Misery Loves Co.
My piece coming up soon.
Yes.
With what was it called again?
I'm being tortured with vegetable broth.
Me tied up in like a hitachina, like a hitachina.
Yeah.
Misery Loves Co.
Misery Loves Co.
510. Etsy, Misery Loves Co. 510. Just look up Misery Loves Co. and you'll find me, or you'll find a restaurant in Alabama, I think. It's like some
Oh yeah.
trendy.
So that you share a name with them.
They're just some trendy, like hipster, like vegan chicken. It looks
Vegan
cool.
chicken.
It
The
looks
word
cool.
hipster in Alabama don't seem to
Yeah.
go together.
It
in
might
my
not be.
mind.
You're right. It's not Alabama, but it's on the other side of the nation.
I think it's some.
Georgia maybe, like Atlanta,
Yeah,
where
but
all the cool people are. Like,
yeah.
So that's where we can follow you and,
That's
and
where you can
contact you for
find me, get a hold of me for
talk to you about horror,
cakes,
cakes, art. Right on, man. Well, thank you for coming out, bro. I appreciate you taking
Thank you,
the time,
gentlemen,
man.
for having me. It's been a
man.
pleasure.
It's been I feel like I learned a lot today.
me too.
Jesus Christ. All right, man. Oh, what were you gonna say?
No, you said Jesus Christ. Is that what's up?
Oh, you're
Jesus
Jesus
looked up and was
Cross. I said Jesus Christ, not cross.
It's like 2 fucking letters off.
Lord of mercy.
Right now,
Not a
you know what you look like to me right now, the way you
A
with your
snack?
facial hair. Aside from that, you look like a general in the Civil War.
Which side?
Which country?
The Union, bro.
Oh, the American Civil. Okay.
Are we talking about Honduras or?
American Civil War.
Like Che Guevara's.
Yeah, remember we're well educated over here in this podcast.
Yeah, me
Like,
and,
which country, man?
I'm a big Robert E. Lee fan myself. But
No, you're like Che Guevara's.
No, you look like Ulysses S. Grant.
Asthma really got a hold of him, so he couldn't be fit.
Ulises
man.
S. Gonzalez.
Now you wait to talk, huh? We're getting close to the end. Oh, man. Thank you guys for listening, man. This has been the Poise Party. We're out.